how did you decide, by the way, to start writing the book? I'm just curious as how that conversation happened. Who brought it up first?
Well, I got to give credit. I think Mike did. But we weren't far apart when we started talking about it, because with all of the things that I've seen in 20 years in talent acquisition, and then Mike being, Mike is truly one of the best leadership instructors that I've seen, plus his history. You're sitting there going, I have the best knowledge of how special operations selects, assess, and train their people. And I'm sitting here looking at the pitfalls. And then Mike has also had all of that experience with clients. We just kind of everything clicked and go, we need to be writing about this. We need to tell people about this. There's countless books on all kinds of topics, but I don't think anybody looks at it from the angle that we are, where you're actually combining, Mike's, unique knowledge about special operations, both selection assessment and the real world operations, along with 20 years of real world talent acquisition from the executive level down to it was his idea, but it was like, wow, light bulb went off. And then, it was a brilliant idea. It seemed simple at the time. And then that's when the hard work starts to happen.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The tactical execution piece. Is it you guys like dictating into a recorder and like, okay, here's what I think. And then somebody's trying to help you piece it all together. Is that how you're doing it?
So when you don't know how to do something well, or it's your first time trying to execute it, George and I are of the same mind. Go find somebody that does this for a living. So we found a woman named Kelsey Adams to help us through the process. And, that's not a hit on our ego whatsoever. She's awesome. She's helped us, format the book, put it into a logical flow, helped us write it. And it's been a much better experience because of Kelsey, and we're learning along the way. It's the same reason. If you're a company looking for great talent, but you've not built a competency in hiring, then go find somebody that knows how to do it well. I mean, outsourcing is an art, and that's what talent acquisition firms are. But ultimately, as we know, the final decision of who you bring onto your team must rest with you.
So who's the book for? Is it for HR managers, recruiters, executives, all the above?
All the above.
All the above.
Yeah, all of the above. The way that we, and Mike and I are really, really clear on this, and you'll see it in the book, this isn't preaching. Mike and I, through our careers, we have made more than our fair share of mistakes. And we hope that we exemplify resiliency because we picked up and learned from those. But this is for CEOs. This is for C-suite. This is for entire HR teams, for recruiters. This is for anybody that wants to know how to acquire talent. And we think all size businesses can benefit from this, from your small startup to your small to medium business to your large corporations. And we wrote it with, the idea in mind that we wanted to get our thoughts down, but we wanted to share that knowledge to help people do it right, to keep the U.S. American economy leading the way across the globe.
Hey, Steve, let me add one point there. And this, we know this. Some of the listeners may not. The majority of CEOs, when asked what's their number one challenge, it's finding and retaining talent. And that's business CEOs. Guess what the number one challenge is for the special operations community in the military? It's finding and retaining.
Yep.
The industries don't matter. Again, remove the domain. That is the number one challenge for leaders of any organization. And we know how hard this is. And it goes to the point that George said, we're not preachy. We're not. This is hard. And if we can help a company just create a process about how they hire differently and add structure to it, and especially a feedback loop. You mentioned the company that continually calls you for 5 resumes. If they keep calling you, it's almost our duty to say, hey, guys, we'll continue to find talent, but there's something going on internally that, you continue to call us. Like, let's take a deeper look into the process. Are you creating a feedback loop to ask why this specific hire didn't work out down the line?
Right.
And what are you adjusting in order to compensate for that?
Are there pieces of the book that George, that HR, like a traditional HR person, is just going to immediately like disagree with? Are they going to be like, oh no, that doesn't work that way?
Yeah, I'm certain that there are. There's a few in there. But like, we talk about, we're not preaching, not saying this is what you must do. How we try to present this is that, look, ultimately, and we've interviewed a number of top CEOs, CHROs, special operations leaders that are, contributed to the book and with quotes, advice, and their perspective on talent. But I think HR leaders, some of them are going to disagree, but I think on the whole, most of them are going to say, yes, thank you for elevating us from the operational to the strategic. We make the point in the book that, if your CEO and CHRO aren't attached at the hip, and as far as a talent strategy, you're going to have challenges. And so we identify those, it does in many parts lift the HR function as a whole to stress and to emphasize what a multiplier that is for businesses. It is not an overhead function. It is a strategic function if you use it correctly. So yeah, there's going to be a few going, there's always going to be your doubters out there. Yeah. But generally speaking, this is really pays tribute and honors, or really lifts up the capabilities of the HR function as a whole.
What happens when you guys disagree on a topic in the book or a paragraph? Like, what do you flip a coin, or how does that work?
I'm the first one to tell you, the book writing has been hard. There's no two ways about it, because it's very hard when you have all that idea in your head to get it into crisp print format. But actually working with Mike has been, it's been a whole lot. That part's been easier than I think, because for us, best idea wins. All right. If I'm locked down on something on talent acquisition, Mike goes, wait a minute, I think it reads better this way. Like, roger that, let's go. So we haven't had anything where one of us has had to draw a line or lay a stake in the ground. It's just been what reads best, what's going to service our clients, what's going to educate people the best, and we run with it.
There's an element of personal growth that I think we both.
Yeah.
The biggest thing of writing.
That's true.
Personal growth of when we've disagreed, we've had we've removed emotion from the equation. And I asked George, like, why are you sticking the sword in the sand on this subject? And he's done it with me. And sometimes it was like, well, this is what I always heard. Okay, let's think about it though. Does this make sense? And so we've changed our stance. Of course, we had an outline going into it. And that outline has probably changed no less than 50, 70 times.
Easy.
And Steve, I want to correct you. Like, not only is this going to piss off some HR members, you can't always please everyone. Right. And we welcome dissenting viewpoints. We'd love to have that conversation because we may change our stance on something. But this is also going to piss off a lot of Navy SEALs. Oh. Because this is probably one of the first books written where Navy SEALs part of the writing the book, where it starts off with a story about the Army Special Forces, colloquially known as Green Berets. And an amazing story about how small teams overcame a massively larger force than them. So I'll probably get some phone calls from some of my brothers. That's on my life, but I love the Green Berets. I love the Army Rangers. I love them all, man. They're awesome elements, slightly different, but in a good way.
Now, will they be pissed because that story's in the book, or because that story's first?
Probably because it's first.
The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. Our show can be heard just about anywhere these days, but you can visit riderflex.com and click on the podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening, and if you enjoy our show, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the episodes.